And good morning. Welcome to Kelowna Now Live. It's Jason Mann with Jim Check on YouTube and X with your day's headlines. And kicking things off here.
Is the fog.
Is the fog for sure.
If you're driving out there, be extra careful for sure. Extra careful in the fog, right?
UBCO is waiting on more clarification on internal student cap. Ebby says more discussion needed.
International student cap is what they're talking about. So they're saying post-secondary schools are seeking further clarification from the federal government after they announced that cap. It was announced earlier this week that 2024 will see about 360,000 approved study permits, a decrease of about 35% from 2023. There will be provincial and territorial caps weighted by population, which will result in much more significant decreases in provinces where the international students population has seen unsustainable growth. Student permit renewals will not be impacted, and those pursuing master's and doctoral degrees in elementary and secondary education are not included in the cap. Current study permit holders will also not be affected. So I mean, that has to do with a lot of the housing issues and the stress on housing and rentals and all that stuff too. So anyway, it's a longer story. You can go on KelownaNow.com and you can read that full story to get a bigger picture of what's going on there.
And Canada's economy grew at the end of 2023, prompting concerns that rate cuts could be delayed now.
It grew by like 0.2%. So they're trying to this morning, they're trying to hype that number and saying, growing, that's still recessionary, right? So, and they're saying stronger than expected. Yeah, but barely, right? So, and they're saying that could push back the timeline for interest rate cuts. I think more like they're trying to just talk down those cuts that are expected. It did, in the US, they were talking about 7 cuts in 2024. Now I think their consensus is they're looking at more like 5 cuts, right? But the recession is getting worse in the States and here too. And we are seeing layoff after layoff again this morning. I was watching on Bloomberg, more layoffs, PayPal with layoffs, Enbridge with layoffs. So that economic growth for 2023 to 1.5%, says StatsCan. These figures exceed the Bank of Canada's forecast. Central Bank projected 0.7% growth in the fourth quarter and 1% for 2023, right? So, I mean, barely, anyway. So the central bank's key interest rate is currently at 5%, the highest it's been since 2001. We do have an interesting live stream coming up. We have a few homeowners out in Ontario that are going to come on the live stream and talk about can't even get refinanced, right? And they're looking at getting refinanced through a
private B lender.
B lender at 10% and stuff like that. So, ouch.
A BC animal shelter is praising extraordinary acts of heroism after 5 puppies and mom rescued from floods.
Yeah, so they've hailed 2 tour company workers for their extraordinary acts of heroism in rescuing 5 puppies and their mother from severe flooding. The Pemberton Animal Wellbeing Society said the duo's swift and decisive action saved the pups' lives. And so for that, they're profoundly thankful. You can go on Kelowna Now and read more about this, and you can always click a link there, and you can even donate some money to the great people at PAWS, right? There you go.
And a couple of Central Okanagan MPs still have questions after Justin Trudeau's vacation has been cleared by his ethics commissioner.
Yeah, Tracy Gray sent us a statement, and she's joined Conservative colleague Dan Albus in criticizing Justin Trudeau after the ethics commissioner said the Prime Minister's nearly $100,000 Jamaican vacation didn't break any rules. And then she said, while Canadians are struggling to get by, Prime Minister Trudeau accepted a free vacation at Stay's Friends Luxury Resort, just totaling $84,000, and that doesn't count all the costs to get there and that. He told Canadians 3 different stories in 2 weeks. We do have Dan Elbus on a live stream, I think, at 2 o'clock. Is that correct, Sophie? It is. She's shaking her head. So we'll be talking about that. So if you have something to say, you can actually join us at 2 o'clock on the live stream, and you can put some of your comments in there.
It's a lot of carbon you'd be blowing to do that on a whim. Hockey players are kidding themselves if they think criminal code doesn't apply on ice, says a BC minister.
Yeah, so Adrian Dix has weighed in on the recent on-ice incident that took place in which a player appeared to put a goalie in a chokehold. Adrian Dix says he hadn't seen the video of the incident in the Pacific Junior Hockey League game in Richmond last Thursday involving a defenseman. for the Richmond Sockeyes and the goalie for the North Vancouver Wolfpack. Dick says criminal actions need to be taken care of by criminal process regardless of where they occur. I think it's been going on forever, right? Like our hockey, like, fights and that kind of stuff haven't really been processed. We just seen that the other day with, the Canadian juniors as well.
And then
right?
in the UK, the fellows...
The neck thing,
cutting the neck with the blade. That was...
More hockey.
More hockey. Well, once in a generation find. A Canadian collector discovers the holy grail of hockey cards. What would it be?
Yeah, so that's unopened hockey cards, boxes of hockey cards and for the year when Wayne Gretzky was a rookie. So in there could be a bunch of rookie cards. That mint connection, so that could be a lot of money for somebody. But, if they have a whole bunch of Wayne Gretzky hockey cards in there, that will obviously bring down, like if there's all of a sudden.
I think they said there's one.
Well, they don't know. They're sealed.
Ah, they're sealed.
Yeah, so those boxes are unsealed. There could be like 12. There could be 20. There could be whatever in that box. There could be 25 to 30 copies of the Wayne Gretzky cards in there.
Okay, got it.
So, and the gum's
but they've already received a bid.
There's still gum in there.
It'll be fresh as the day it was made.
Well,
it was never fresh.
It'll be the same. I remember buying hockey cards around then too, right? And I think we did more of the gum.
Yeah.
Anyway,
forget the
lucky find for somebody there.
All right, let's shift gears to 5 things you need to know happening around the world. And off the top, Portland has declared a state of emergency amid a fentanyl crisis. Meanwhile, we're handing it out in schools.
It's decriminalized in Portland, and they're facing a big crisis there, the governor declared. And in 2, national vacancy rates, lowest on record. I mean, that's what we've been talking about, rental prices and that. When we add 1.234 million people to the population, of course, we're going to see that, right? And 3, if you go online and read that one, Musk, they scuttled a deal. I imagine there's going to be, that deal's going to get reworked. 4 and 5, this one I listened to, and this one is a little bit bizarre. We've been seeing more and more of this on YouTube. UFOs. Tons and tons more stuff on UFOs, but these are Canadian pilots, a bunch of Canadian pilots that are saying, go listen to that transcript, and they're calling in and say, hey, is there anything up here that we should be aware of? So there were several pilots saying like, hey, there's some weird stuff out here. Anyway, yeah, you go ahead and read number 5 too, but that's 5 things. As always, it's kind of gives you some water cooler talk. Xfiles. This one is kind of cool. We're going to try and bring Xfiles in most mornings. Elmo, the Sesame Street Elmo, he did a check-in. Got 177 million views. You see that? Yeah, his post was, Elmo just checking in with everybody. And some of the responses have had, huge views, and and
that's in 2 days.
And that's in 2 days. So this is one that was directly underneath it. One asking for Trump back, and then every morning I cannot wait to go back to sleep. Every Monday I cannot wait for Friday to come. Every single day and every single So, and another one, and I think a lot of people, Elmo, we are tired. The news is getting crazy, and then there's a few more. You can go there and see that you're not alone. I guess I don't know if. I think there was a couple more there. One that says, people have lost all hope in a dystopian nightmare that was once called America. This is a lot of American stuff for sure. We're told not to trust our eyes and to believe the science unless the science has to do with. Anyway, lots of stuff there. But the one that I found was interesting or funnier was Domino's in the UK posted this, right? And it said, everything's totally fine. Joining in.
That is just a classic.
Trying to get some attention, right? Let's do the roads.
All right. Brought to you by CSN Collision Centers. Highway 97 north of Summerland will be closed for 90 minutes today at its usual space and its usual time from 11 until 12:30.
Yeah, so find yourself a nice place to have lunch in Peachland or Summerland, right? As usual. And then we're going to bring in a new thing, stats. We're going to try and reveal one stat every newscast that is interesting. So this morning, Stats Canada says the country's fertility rate reached an all-time low of 1.33 children per woman in 2022. The federal agency said that's part of the downward trend that began in 2009. The COVID COVID-19 pandemic appeared to have temporarily disrupted the trend when the fertility rate rose in 2020 and 21. People are having less kids. That's just you have three children. I have 3, but I don't think that's the norm anymore. Most people are having none, or even not even considering to have children because they don't think they can afford it.
Can't afford it. There's also a bit of a narrative out there that the world can't sustain any more people, and things
well, I mean, there's counter argument to that too, and say that we need people. Like some of the populations in most countries, Japan, China, are dropping, and same as Canada and that. So if you don't count immigration, right? So.
Yeah, I'm not saying I believe in it.
And then also we're going to try and add in our EVAI section, and here's some really good news for Canadians, especially for Ford's owners. The Ford Lightning and Mach-E owners in U.S. and Canada can now reserve a complimentary adapter, so they're going to get it for free, so they can use the Tesla's supercharger network. That's amazing. That was Jim Farley that announced that. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, that they can get access to the Tesla supercharger, and I think that's going to go a long way to reduce range anxiety and all those other things. Chargers not working because the Tesla chargers work like a hot damn. I use them all the time, and I've never had any issues with them, and you just walk up to it and plug it in. Like, you know what I mean? It's no credit card stuff, none of that. I don't know what Ford owners are going to have to do, but for a Tesla owner, like you don't have to do anything. You just walk up and plug it in, just like you're plugging in your anything you plug in.
It knows.
Super simple, and so that's great news for Ford. I do believe Ford will do a deal with Tesla here shortly. So that's my prediction. So let's see what happens. So let's do the weather.
And it's brought to you by ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at atb.com/wealth. Kelowna, foggy morning, as you can see, or maybe not see.
Is that how you think? As you can't see.
We may see some showers today, and we may see some sunny breaks too.
There's Prospera Place.
Expecting the sun to burn off the fog here anyways at some point this morning. Yeah, there's one Water Street, and this is looking out on the connector, so that's going to be pretty foggy on the connector. But as you move further to the coast or higher up, above the clouds. Yeah,
above the fog.
Looks nice up there at the Coca-Cola Summit. And this is a bit of a traffic jam, it looks like.
That's on Rogers Pass.
Yeah, Rogers Pass. So foggy and backed up. And Big White, if you're heading up there, unlimited visibility, calm winds, 118 runs open, and a sprinkling of fresh snow. So if you're heading up that way, enjoy the day.
Snow base at 155.
It's pleasant skiing conditions.
There you go. And there's the forecast for the rest of the week.
Showers, cloudy, and
cloudy,
mild until we get to the weekend.
Sunday
where
looks a little chilly.
It turns a little bit, yeah.
Just that's a pretty big difference from Saturday to Sunday, from 7 to 1. A little cold front moving in, I take it.
Yeah, I might see some snow flurries on Monday or Tuesday.
Well, that was the newscast for this morning at 9 a.m. We're back at 4 p.m., but we are back with a 2 p.m. live stream with Dan Albus, and we're going to talk about our Prime Minister's free vacation.
All right.
And just imagine if all politicians took free stuff, right? Because what defines a friend? Because that's the
test
excuse, right? They say, well, it was from a friend. I mean, how long is a friend? Like who defines friends? Seems kind of subjective, no?
And I learned something rather interesting, having done a little bit of traveling in Ontario in the last few years. In Renfrew, Ontario, there's this massive property, government property, with finely manicured lawns, long driveway, huge empty parking lot, and this building. And inside the building, do you know what's kept there? All the gifts that have come to the Prime Minister, the government office.
That they're supposed to turn in.
That they turn in and they store them there. And so, what's the difference if you get a gift from a longtime political friend?
Well, what defines friend?
In any event, that ticket should maybe be in that same Renfrew building.
I would say so. But hey, what do I know? There is a really good tweet out there from Andrew Scheer, the former leader of the opposition. He was grilling the CEO of CBC. I think if you got some time, go and watch that and see the response from CBC, because his basic ask is, how do you just laid off staff, a whole bunch of staff. Your metrics are terrible, and yet you did huge bonuses, and they defend it. So hey.
It's upside down. It's upside down, Jimmy.
I think if Elmo was checking in on that one, Elmo might say, what? Anyway, that's it for us right now. We'll see you again at 2 o'clock, and we'll see you at 4 p.m. Until then, have a great day.